Today I'm going to be continuing my touch typing sessions. We're at about 20 words a minute now, so I'm also going to be listening to my audiobook about closing, and then after this audiobook I'm going to find another sales related closing audiobook.
Handle 30 pounds. Then no matter the challenges you face, number 4, an incorrect estimate. The third reason for not closing a deal. A lack of belief in your purpose. Number 2, reason for not closing a deal. The unwillingness to deal with the emotional discomfort will prevent the close. Most people are not willing to deal with the emotional discomfort that takes place between the no and the yes, and actually seek to avoid this at all costs. This retreat and desire not to experience emotional output is a retreat from life itself. You have to be willing to handle the emotional output from others in the negotiations in order to even be with them and to accomplish anything in life. When it comes to the negotiations, agreements, decisions, and money in the close, people get emotional, and most of it is only emotional responses that have nothing to do with you or even your proposal. You have to be trained, drilled, and rehearsed to make nothing of this emotional output. You need to acknowledge your prospect and absolutely avoid getting emotional yourself. Look, acknowledge whatever reaction they're having or whatever they may be experiencing, but do not respond with more emotion. Like a baby who's crying. Do you start crying too? No. Like a baby who's crying, your prospect is simply expressing some emotions that you may or may not understand. Instead of getting upset, remain calm and stay interested in the prospect. Don't run from the discomfort. Don't try to hide from it. Don't pretend it isn't happening. And absolutely do not react. Stay calm and remain focused on what you're there to do. Close the deal regardless of the emotions. You know, people get funny when it comes to making decisions, and especially when it comes to making money. Which do you think they have more insecurity about, money or decisions? I'll tell you what it is. First, it's decisions, and 2, it's money. Train yourself to handle people logically, not emotionally. Learn how to sit in one place comfortably while your client is going off hysterically, and you will become a master in negotiations. There's a course called Training Drills. It's referred to as a training regimen or drills that can teach you to sit comfortably and handle almost anything. It's called a TR's course, and you can call my office and they can give you more information on it. My number is 800-368-5771. It's called a TR's course, and it will put you in a position to sit comfortably and handle anything. I've personally taken this course, and it is absolutely amazing. There's only one group that teaches it, so call my office and they'll give you the information on it. The third reason for not closing a deal. A lack of belief in your purpose or in your product can prevent you from going all the way in the close. This third reason happens to be the salesperson or presenter's, now closer. He doesn't fully believe in the product, the idea, or the service, or the dream to the point that they will do anything to close this prospect. So you have to believe at a very deep level. You have to believe at a deeper level than they believe, like, hey, Grant, we don't have the money, we can't do it, it will put us in financial harm. If you believe that, you were sold and closed on that. If you believe your product is of greater benefit to the planet than this person's financial situation, you will close. You have to believe at an extremely deep level. You have to believe in something so much that you are willing to insist so passionately that you would actually make or call someone to do something that they don't really want to do. See, this is what I'm talking about. And if you've been socialized to believe, don't persist, don't pressure, don't grind, don't hammer, be nice, know when to take no, then you lose the ability to commit all the way. People that are selling every day lose this over time. This passionate insistence to make sure the buyer says yes to whatever you have to offer. I write about this in detail in my book, Sell to Survive, where I demonstrate people giving up due to a lack of belief in their product or service and the company they represent. You have to be sold yourself. The most important sale you will ever make is the one to yourself. You have to be sold yourself, or your client will sell you on not closing. This passion and belief has to be continually rehabilitated from time to time in order to keep the insistence factor up in you. In every selling exchange, know that a sale takes place. He who is most convinced, most passionate, and most sold will do the most selling and the most convincing. If you are not sold, convinced, you cannot close to an actionable agreement. The most important sale, again, you will ever make is long before a client is ever involved. Close or be closed is what we say at our office. You either do the closing or you get closed. The party that is the most sold will do the most closing. Number 4, an incorrect estimation of effort will prevent the close. People do not have a correct estimation of the amount of effort necessary to actually achieve a result in a close. This happens to people in all types of careers: executives, entrepreneurs, CEOs, actors, athletes, managers, dreamers, human beings. Anyone trying to accomplish a goal, they underestimate, have a correct estimation of the effort required. The inability to correctly assess how much energy and effort it takes to get something done is a huge outpoint of the seeker. The result is someone who is not prepared emotionally, not prepared physically, not prepared technically to generate the correct effort in order to get the mission accomplished. Look, if you think you're going to need to lift 3 pounds and then only train for 3 pounds, you will fail more often than not, even to pick up only 3 pounds. Real life seems to always alter the lab test. You know what I'm saying? There's always little changes and variations. Maybe you don't feel good that day and you can't pick up the 3 pounds, but you only prepared for 3 pounds, so you can't quite get it. Let's say the day you show up, one of your arms goes into spasm. Now you need to lift the 3 pounds, but you're trained with both arms, not one. Problem: if you had trained to handle 30 pounds, then no matter the challenges you face in the real world, you will be able to handle 3 pounds, an incorrect estimation of preparation in order to get the job done. You wouldn't go on a 30-mile trip with only a half a tank of gas, would you? You know, one day this will be an outdated audio program because you'll be able to go 30 miles on maybe a tenth of gas, or maybe we're not even using gas anymore. But incorrect estimation of effort is a major miscalculation in goal achievement. Have you allotted the time, the effort, the amount of insistence, the amount of enthusiasm? Have you allotted the correct estimation of staying power to take a guy from no to yes? Have you trained for the most difficult situations that you will ever face? Most people will say no. This correct estimation of effort will allow you to correctly assess and then prepare for a situation. Train for the most difficult and hope for the easiest. Train for the most difficult customers and prospects in negotiating situations and hope for the easiest. Train hard, close easy. Number 5 reason. Being reasonable can prevent a close. This is a human condition that seems to have perpetuated our entire society over the years, encouraging you to settle, to be happy, to take it easy, to be satisfied, and hey, what's wrong? Let's just do it tomorrow. People have lost the importance of completing tasks and getting things done, closed. Urgency to complete as a daily habit is missing in our society today. The individual only becomes urgent when his survival is threatened. Most of the time, this is too late. The close is just the last step of a cycle of actions involved in selling and presenting and proposing and negotiating. It is no different than how bagging the grass and bringing the grass out to the street after cutting your lawn is the last cycle of mowing a lawn. Until something is completed, look, it's not done. Get unreasonable about that. If I didn't complete it, I didn't finish it. If I didn't close it, it's not done. One of the things I work on in my life is to complete action started. As I say this, I'm thinking about all the things sitting on my desk right now undone, and that bothers me. I need to go back to my office today and complete each one of those cycles because all those are closes. Look, the more I complete, the more I complete. Right? The more I complete, the more I complete, and the more I complete, the more I can complete new things. The less I complete, finish, close, the less I can complete, which ultimately reduces my desire to start new projects. Salespeople with unclosed deals are punished more than they will ever know. But watch someone become less and less ambitious as more and more deals don't close. Why? All these unclosed cycles. Get in the habit of approaching everything with a sense of completion and an urgency to complete. Never be reasonable with time. This discipline is critical to mounting up sale after sale and one that is understood by the heavy hitters. How do you manage time? Complete every action once started. Do it as fast as you possibly can and then go and do another task. The same with closing deals. Don't put off closing what you can close today. My sister had a friend that wanted to buy my first book for me, and she asked me if I would send a book out and wait for her to write a check. I said, sure, I can do that. I can call her and get the money, send the book out, and close it now. My sister said, Grant, you can't need $30 that bad. What's so urgent? And I told her, look, it has nothing to do with $30. It has more to do with creating a discipline in my life to urgently attack finishing things, regardless of how small they are, so that I can go on to the next thing. Don't be reasonable in this point of urgency of closing now. Be urgent. Then you're going to get into like, oh man, am I going to be too insistent? And then they're going to think I'm pressuring them. See, you got to get all these correct. Practice finishing everything you start as a discipline, insisting to start closing the deal now. The urgent desire to close a deal, any deal, no matter the amount, is what I live by. One closed deal becomes a second closed deal. 2 closed deal becomes a third one. I get the momentum. I start winning. I become a better husband. I become a better father. I become a better employer. I become better at everything. Be urgent and don't be reasonable, ever. Number 6, no financial plan in place that can prevent the close. See, what I mean by that is the salesperson or the presenter operates without a valid financial plan. Therefore, they lack the proper motivation, underestimating the importance of every close to their financial plan. And we're not talking about closing here. We're talking about you having a financial plan that would put pressure on you to get the job done. Because the truth is, when you have to get something done, notice it gets done. Here's a fact. If you're just working to make someone else's dreams come true, you will never be a great closer. On the other hand, if you want to make sure your wife can buy anything she wants or your husband can get anything they want, you can become a great closer. You want to make sure you and your family can have everything they've ever wanted and that you can take care of every possible situation that comes your way, you can become a great closer. If you took the time to build a financial plan for yourself that takes care of more than just your bills but will create financial freedom for yourself in the future, you will be a great closer. People greatly underestimate how much money it actually takes to truly ensure their financial freedom and their financial future. People are reasonable, apparently unconscious, and even unwilling to confront this area of financial planning. Many people have a hard time closing because they don't have the correct motivation to do the things that may be uncomfortable in order to get the job done and the deal closed. Look, just paying your bills, the gas bill, the water bill, the house payment, the car payment, the Visa, the MasterCard, whatever, your bills, just getting those paid will never cause you to be a great closer because the purpose is not meaningful enough for you. Who's going to get excited? Oh, I got to close this deal because I want to pay my gas bill. All right? Okay, good. You close it. Well, what else? Some of the best closers I've ever met were those who didn't do it for profit, but they did it for purpose. They had their purpose correctly aligned. For instance, fundraisers are some of the best closers I have ever met in my life. Why? They're not getting paid. But you see, because they're so aligned with the purpose of their charity, needing money, they insist, they persist, they are motivated, they are staying in the deal, they keep making phone calls. Why? Because the purpose is high. Now, what does this have to do with your financial plan? Your financial purpose, your financial plan and purpose need to be aligned, and you're underestimating the finances needed to make your dreams and your life purposes come true. These fundraisers, these people are master closers, many of them, at getting money from others. Why? Because they're so committed and so dedicated to their purpose, and they have a clear understanding of the true financial needs of that charity. You have to get a proper financial plan put in place in order to have the proper drive, the need to get the job done and close. Now, I'm going to be creating a new program just on that. What is the proper financial plan? Most of the people, I spoke to a group of 300 people, 95% by survey did not even understand what a financial plan was. They only understood a budget, not the money they needed to create. Okay, the money you spent is not as important as the money you create. Would you agree? You know, at the age of 25, over 25 years ago, I put a financial plan in place. Prior to that, I didn't even have one. And this financial plan caused me to push harder than others around me. Now, I could go into every deal knowing that that deal, even the smallest deals, contributed to what I call the Grant Cardone Financial Freedom Plan. See, I didn't have the money to fund my plan, my car, my real estate investment. I didn't have that money. I put a plan, built a plan, and said, this is what you would need, Grant, so that you could invest in real estate, so you could invest in the stock market, so you could save money, so you could build a retirement plan, so you could have the cars you wanted. I built that kind of plan, and every time I went into a deal, I looked at others as a participation or a partner in funding my financial freedom plan. Too many people go to work to work. This is even a famous saying, go to work to work. Man, I don't want to go to work to work. I want to go to work to prosper. If I want to work hard, I'd go dig a ditch. What about you? Quit going to work to work. Go to work to make your financial plan a reality. Too many people go to work and do so for the next 40 years to later discover they're short on money and long on years. You don't want to be short on money and long on years. You want to be long on money and short on years. That would suggest that most people in the marketplace today are incorrectly estimating the financial needs or never creating a financial plan at all. I was recently on Fox Business News, and I was telling them, look, everybody's underestimating how much money it takes to get by in life. Look at the number of people having financial problems. They're underestimating what it takes to get by. Get a financial plan today and make sure it is going to do more than just pay your bills. But create a financial plan for you and your household that will provide you with security, with a safety net, with retirement accounts, with all the things you've ever dreamed of, and you will become a better closer. You will start closing more deals, and you will quit underestimating the amount of effort, energy, and enthusiasm it takes to get a deal done. Bottom line is, if you underestimate what it takes to create financial freedom, then it only makes sense that you will underestimate what it takes to close a deal. Number 7, incorrectly handling objections can definitely stop a close. Now, this is a purely technical issue, can easily be handled by someone who is willing to put in the time and effort and practice how to handle all the situations a closer can experience. I have spent years mastering, and yes, I say that humbly, I have mastered the art of handling objections. And I did so because I was completely dedicated and no longer desired to be pushed around or stumped in the close. I got tired of people just giving me excuses and not knowing how to handle them. I got tired of being stumped and not knowing what to do. I got tired of going to management. What do I do? They don't know either. So many of the other salespeople cross their fingers and hope for the best, were unwilling to put in the time to really know the game of handling objections. It is said that whatever you put your attention on, you will get. Do you believe that? If I put my attention on car wreck, I get car wreck. If I put my attention on solutions, I get solutions. See, this book should become your Bible, as it will show you how to handle every objection that I have ever encountered and every objection you will encounter. So we're going to load you up with an arsenal of techniques for handling every stall, objection, problem, complaint. I'm going to load you up. Reason number 8, handling objections that are only complaints is another way to never finish a close. On a similar but very different note, many salespeople, unfortunately, have been taught to handle objections that are not objections, but just merely complaints. Of all the sales books I've ever read, all the programs I've listened to, all the videos I've watched, and all the seminar speakers, sales professionals that I have witnessed, I have never seen this issue distinguished. After years of research, I learned that most so-called objections that you were told to handle are not actually objections at all, but simple complaints that people automatically make through life. Here's a rule for you. You want to write this down? Very, very important. Treat all objections as complaints until further validated. Do not handle an objection as an objection. Handle it as a complaint. Most of the time, the closer is handling a complaint that never required more than, I understand. See, when you treat a complaint, hey, Grant, the payments are too high, or the price is too high. When you handle that complaint like an objection, you then validate it and turn it into more than what it was, a complaint. Just because somebody says the price of the jacket's too high doesn't mean they won't buy the jacket. You're proof of that. How many times have you said something was too much money and then bought it anyway? Was that a complaint or an objection? It was a complaint. Hey, the weather's bad. I understand and I agree with you. Is that a complaint or an objection? Yes, it's a complaint, right? The weather's bad. No different than the price is high. See, the more you validate a complaint and handle it, the more real and the more solid the complaint will appear to everyone. The first thing I do when I hear what appears to be an objection is I treat it like what? A complaint, until further validated as a real objection. The first rule of selling that I discussed in Sell to Survive will serve you well in determining whether an objection is valid or not. The first rule of selling is always agree. If it is a legitimate objection, you will know soon enough. But trust me, most of what you hear in the close are not objections at all. What are they? They're complaints. Number 9, a lack of closing material will stop the close. Due to a lack of successful closing material and techniques, salespeople are unable to persist in the close. I have personally met hundreds of thousands of salespeople, professional negotiators, transactional people, mediators, real estate agents, people involved in huge negotiations that only have a handful, some none, 0 techniques for even closing a deal. Only a very small percentage of these people in my career have more than just a handful of practiced and rehearsed prepared closes. I know thousands of salespeople who, after leaving my seminars and getting on my closing programs, memorizing these killer, incredible, logical, and smart closes, are now able to go out and use these not just in their work, but in real life situations. These individuals watch their confidence zoom, watch the love of their job increase, and their income soar. See, great closers are rare people. Why? Because they don't have the technology. If they have the commitment to learn and add technology to that, they'll be killer closers. The rare ones, the rare great, the professionals, those guys you hear about, they have deep, deep arsenals of closing material that is completely memorized and rehearsed. They are prepared closers. They absolutely understand this material and are able to wield them with ease, even in the heat of battle. Just for clarification, none of the closes in this program are used for the intent of manipulation or deception, but rather are used to help the prospect make a logical decision that allows the winner's exchange. Number 10, an incorrect barrier can make you blinded to the correct reasons you fail to close. If you identify the incorrect barrier, you could blind yourself to the real reason you fail to close a deal. Salespeople wrongly believe their customers are the barrier or reason for the no close, rather than understanding that the closer, in actuality, is the ultimate and only barrier in every close. I'm going to say that again to you. The closer is the ultimate and only barrier to every close. It is never, ever anything else. Now, I know this is a hard one for most to swallow. I was once told, no matter where you go, there you are. Well, this hits me like a ton of bricks as I immediately agreed with it, knowing that the things that are happening to me happen because of me and my beliefs. It's not happening to me. See, so if you could live with this in your life, look, it's happening because of you, not to you. If you're not getting the close, it's because of you, not because of them. When I heard this, I was actually uplifted as it raised my responsibility level and put me at a point where I could take charge of my life because I could take responsibility for the results. It's not them any longer doing something to me. It's me doing something that causes them to do something. At least I can do something about that if it's about me. This brings me to a new saying. Nothing happens to you. It happens because of you. I assure you that whatever's happening to you in your life, whatever's happening to you in the close is happening because of you, regardless of how difficult that is to eat. Your actions in life and your beliefs are causing things to happen to you. Whatever objections or situations that are recurring over and over again are happening because of you, because of some agreement you have, or some belief you have, or some mental creation you continue to validate. What you focus on, I think you would agree, you will attract. Things like car wrecks. Think about a car wreck long enough, and you will have a car wreck. Think about the flu long enough, and you will get the flu. Look, the media every year around December, January, starts convincing everybody to get the flu. Think about prices being too high. I guarantee you, everywhere you go, the prices will be too high. If you think you need to think and time's a problem, you will always be out of time and you will always need to think. If you believe you need to shop or you can't make rash decisions, whatever you believe will show up in the close. I know it sounds way out there, but just look at your own life. Look at the objections you continue to get in the close, and I assure you, you have some basic agreement with them somewhere in your life. This is happening to you because of you. And if you trust me long enough to look at how this might be true, you will find out it is true. For the next week, I want you to write down every objection, also called a complaint, first a complaint. I want you to write down every objection you get, and I want you to see how many of those you do in your own life. Grant, I need to think about it. Guarantee you're doing that in your own life. Grant, the price is too high. Guarantee you, everywhere you go, that's what you believe. We can't afford this right now. I promise you that you do that. Grant, we don't make a rash decision. Guarantee you have some belief about that in your own life. You will be amazed at the connection between the objections you're getting and the beliefs and ideas and thoughts that you maintain in your own life. Okay, so there's your 10 reasons. You want to really look at those, really study those, and start looking at where you can improve. This book is going to give you a tremendous arsenal, but you got to get your head right around these as well, okay? Your head right around selling, about the commitment, about the consistency. You got to get your heart into it. The rules. Like any game, particularly in closing, there are rules, and you must abide by these rules to ensure your success. Now, there are 20 major rules that I identify, and they're laid out below, and I'm going to comment on each. These rules should be looked over from time to time, and you should treat them as a firm policy that you will not violate under any condition. Rule number 1, always be seated when negotiating and closing. This is a highly violated policy that is missed by every seasoned professional. You will hardly ever close someone while standing up. The saying goes, present the product, service, idea on your feet, always negotiate the terms from your seat. In addition to making sure you're seated when attempting agreement and closure, you want to also have the prospect seated. Even if your prospect stands up in mid-negotiations, remain seated, suggesting you are not done. Do not react by standing up. Stay seated will show confidence of the ability to come to an agreement. Going from a seating position to a standing position suggests somehow that something has changed and will allow your prospect to exit and end the negotiations. Rule number 2, always present your proposal in writing. People do not believe what they hear, they believe what they see. That which is written is more credible and more valued than that which is simply spoken. The old saying, talk is cheap, plays out big here. Always have a legal pad available so you can make points on the legal pad separate from the contract. Anything offered as points of value should be included. Anything expected should be written down. Anything taken for granted should be written down because it becomes real to them. Example, if your product or service, for instance, has a warranty that is standard in your offering, you should still write it down as something your buyer gets when they make a decision with you. This is overlooked by 99% of all negotiators in the close, as they assume because it's included, it should not be disclosed, and certainly would never be used as a closing point. Why not? It's included. It's part of your presentation. It's part of your package. It's part of your overall benefits. Anything of value should be accented, should be written down, should be validated in writing, and should be used to build your case of logic as to the many reasons someone would do business with you and close with you. Hey, if you're a good guy, write it down. You know, if you've been in business 25 years, write it down. Whatever it is you can add value to, the written word is more valuable than the heard word. Rule number 3, always clearly communicate your proposal. It is important that you rehearse and clearly communicate what your offer is, what your benefits are, what your presentation includes. Work it out. Don't mumble. Don't cover your mouth. Speak clearly. Speak confidently so that your offer is communicated in a manner that suggests optimism, pride, and credibility. No one will trust a person who cannot communicate clearly and confidently. Practice your delivery and do not just assume you're coming over clearly. Maybe video yourself and see it. You know, I practiced using recorders and videos for years and then playing them back to ensure that my communication was coming across in the way that I intended. Rule number 4. Always make eye contact. It is very important that you learn to maintain eye contact with your prospect. And in your proposal,
Okay, guys, so how did we do today? 19 minutes, 15 words, so slightly more errors than yesterday. But I'm getting there, and that's the point. I think once I nail the errors, heat map of where the problem is. So brackets are a problem. Okay, good. Well, thank you for watching, guys. Jeez. And I'll see you tomorrow.